Jamie, we understand you channel two entities, an extraterrestrial calling herself Leah and another entity calling himself the Tibetan. Can you tell us how all this channeling began for you?
Well, trans-channeling actually started happening around 3 years ago. I was sitting in the backyard, everyone else was inside, and I was looking at the sky, and all these clouds started going across, and then one wasn't moving. And I knew for sure that there was something behind the cloud. And so I just screamed mentally, "Why are you hiding from me?" All of a sudden, telepathically, I could hear the voice, now we know it was Leah, and she would instruct me on what to do. And it was almost like an enormous wave of love.
Hello, Philip. How are you today?
Very good, Leah. How are you?
Very fine, thank you. So, what is it that you wanted to know?
Where are you from?
I'm from Venus.
I don't think anybody's going to believe that you or anybody else could be from Venus. Could you explain to us how you could be when everybody knows it's uninhabitable?
They think it's uninhabitable because it is not inhabitable by physical life forms. We have bodies of light. They are non-physical. We exist in a dimension that you have not yet encountered, where atoms move so very rapidly that you could put your hand directly through, let us say, a solid wall. Let us take a look at the fact that there are 3 separate types of extraterrestrial craft. There are those that come in light form, that will pick up on your films, your cameras, that supposedly are not visible to the naked eye, except there is some sort of light that is different in the air or around a cloud. However, they do pick up on your film. That is coming from a higher dimension or density, and coming in not to frighten anyone, not to be visible, but simply to be there to observe. There is the physical contact, that is ships that are coming in that are visible to everyone, whether in the night sky or during the day. And thirdly, you have those ships that come from your past or your future. So there is no time. They break the idea of time. There were 5, no 6, great civilizations that planted in various portions of your planet genetic seeds. Even your Bible says it, that the race of gods married the daughters of men. And what occurs here on this planet will affect the rest of the universe. Can you, with all of your different ideas, all of your different races, come together as one planet and one people? We have dedicated millennia upon millennia to this idea. The earlier experiments with Pan and Lemuria and Atlantis were not successful. But this one will be.
Since Jamie also channels another entity called the Tibetan, is there any chance that the Tibetan could come through for our cameras right now?
Well, you might have to wait a moment. He's been hanging around, but he wasn't sure this was his time. I am the Tibetan, and I have come during this time continuum to discuss with you the idea of the only question in the universe. And that question is, what is? And the answer is, I am. For all things that are created, that were created, that shall be created, fall under the question, what is? And you, each and every one of you, are that answer, and that answer is I am. I am is also the name of the creator of this universe. That is all. I relinquish control to the entity, Leah. Well, all right, Philip. You have another question?
I do have one last question, Leah. I'd like to know, for everybody here and the people who may be watching, is there anything in closing that you would like to say to all of us?
I guess the old fogey said it pretty much all in all, but I guess I might come up with a thing or two to say. This new age is where there will be a race on this planet and throughout all galaxies. And the name of that race will be peace. It's been wonderful spending some time with you. As you take this little piece of information with you, know that you are never alone. You are all connected to the creative source of this universe. And nothing can stop that flow except your denial that you are God. We thank you. Good day.
My basic understanding of what most channelings are all about is that they're the product of an arrangement or an agreement that is made prior to the physical life between the person that's going to do the channeling and the being that is going to be channeled.
Daryl Anka, born in Ottawa, Canada, now living in Los Angeles. 3 years ago, while bicycling with some friends in broad daylight, he spotted a triangular-shaped UFO. But something more unusual happened afterward.
On 2 different occasions within the span of the same week, with 4 friends with me the first time and 2 friends with me the second time, we actually had bright, broad daylight, physical, close sightings of Bashar spacecraft over Los Angeles. Now, what I didn't understand at that time, and what I understand now, is that that physical sighting was his way of kicking me in the subconscious memory to start learning what I needed to learn to fulfill the agreement I had made. Bashar and his people made contact, and as soon as the mental connection was there, the memory of having made the agreement came back, who they were, who I was to them, what the ship sighting was about, dream encounters I had with them that I totally blocked up to that point all came back in that one memory, and along with it was the first message that they had for me mentally, which was, okay, now this is the time to start doing this if you still want to. Do you still want to? Obviously I said yes, and that was just a little over 3.5 years ago, so that's how it sort of began for me.
Time as you create time to exist. Allow us to begin with an interaction on the idea of miracles. In this way, recognize that what you often consider in your civilization to be miracles, you consider to be out of the ordinary, above and beyond the mainstream reality that you are used to experiencing in your day-to-day world. But recognize what you typically call a miracle is, in actual fact, a recognition of the fundamental workings of the universe. So if you wish your life to become, as you think, more miraculous, and for life to become more and more effortless expression of that level of creativity, then all you need to do is allow your life to revert back to its natural state, to the zero rest balance point, to allow the things in your life to be there that need to be there, rather than thinking you must make or force or push those ideas into creation. Desire, determination, those are tools that can allow you to allow your reality to work, but desire and determination do not have to be expressed in a struggle type of mode. Desire is the activation key that will bring to you anything you believe to be possible to experience in your life. And when you allow your desire, your excitement, which is your indication of your connection to the primal energy out of which all is created, when you allow your desire to bring those things into your life, then your life will be effortless, will be miraculous, day to day to day. You follow along?
We're doing this documentary for public awareness. Do you have anything to say regarding this?
What we will say is to extend from us an appreciation and a thank you to your civilization for being willing to come to the point in its conscious conception of itself wherein it is willing to discuss these ideas and expand in many different ways. The exploration of your consciousness will be discovered to be the key to any idea you wish to understand. The universe does not do extraneous and pointless things. Everything works, and there is a reason for everything. Explore and expand your curiosity. Become fascinated with the interplay of all ideas as they interact and interrelate, and you will discover that everything is an orchestration, and a flawless one at that.
Shar, thank you very much.
We thank you for your endeavor. We thank you for your sharing and your willingness to participate and create an opportunity for others to participate in the growing expansion of awareness, of remembering that you are all made in the image of the infinite creator, and what that means is you are all infinite creators. We thank you.
But what does the academic establishment have to say?
Do you see channeling as a subject that is going to be more and more popular, or just something that's going to fade into the background from your perspective as a psychologist?
Well, I think at the moment, Shirley MacLaine has drawn more importance to it, drawn attention to it anyway, and I think it really depends on the people that do become interested, how influential the people who are drawn to it are. I think this is not something new. This is something that's been with us through the ages. I think it's really more a question of how long can we go on denying it.
People describe channeling as feeling another energy come through them, yet you yourself, as an electrical engineer, often go to these channelings. How do you rectify such a contradictory situation?
Well, I think it ties in very nicely in the fact that the human body is a conductor of energy, and what you're bringing through is energy. All electronics deals with energy. I mean, it's got to move an electron from point A to point B. And basically all we're doing as channels is bringing the energy of the universe, of these other entities, the spirits, through the body, through the back of the brain here, into the vocal mechanism, and the information comes out. Everybody acknowledges that the atoms that make up every piece of mass in the universe have electrons that spin around a nucleus, and those electrons are negatively charged, and they can be moved from electron to electron. That's how energy flows. Why can't that be done with the human body, which is very conductive of energy?
I think every one of us acts as a channel every day.
Dr. David Froning, scientist for the past 20 years for a major aerospace corporation. He has been experimenting with theories on interstellar travel.
As scientists and engineers, we do tend to be more skeptical, and we like to see well-documented proof, and we like to see the thing repeatable time after time after time. And that's probably one reason why things such as UFO and psychic phenomena are still not popular in scientific and engineering circles, because it's not something we've been able to really get our hand on and explain with readily conventional theories. Every day we either take in thoughts or shut them out with our mentality. So even though all of us aren't channels as a performance or a service, I think whether we want to or not, every one of us is a channel. In fact, I know of at least one or possibly two scientists and engineers who actually use channeling to get technical information to help them in their projects.
But our own government search for extraterrestrial life in outer space has not turned up any results. Or has it? Another UFO sighting. This one, front page headlines. But what of the huge listening devices of the Arizona deserts? Are we listening to anyone out there in the distant stars? Apparently not, since we haven't heard anything that would classify as a message or a coded signal. But does that mean that there's no one out there? But if we're to examine channeling in this program, we have to mention this lady, Jane Roberts, and the more than 15 books channeled through her by an entity calling itself Seth, which have sold more than 1 million copies and were written 15 years ago when channeling was too frightening a concept for most people to consider. In a rare audio recording, let's listen in on Seth speaking through Jane Roberts.
I've said this many times. I say it 1,000,000 times. Here in this class and in my books. You form your reality. Then what is the you that forms this spectacular reality that you know? When will you be willing to admit the greatness that is within each of you and not cower, and not say in this realm of reality it is not possible, but encounter the greatness within yourselves.
Rick Stack, teacher of the Seth philosophy in Manhattan.
Clearly the main message that Seth is trying to say is that people are gods in training, that the physical reality is a training system, and that we are learning here that we create our own reality, totally. Everything that happens to us, we create. And we are learning through trial and error to become responsible co-creators with all that is.
New Age thoughts. Some are very ancient concepts, giving you twists. But are they making any impact? A recent USA Weekend poll stated that 1 person in 4 believes they have lived before. That means we're not actually Americans or Russians or 6 feet tall and a certain weight, but spiritual beings agreeing to be here with each other at this time to learn what we feel we must and to continue to evolve.